Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's Cabinet meeting. I'm Karen Clark, elected Mayor. I'm delighted to be here chairing tonight. We'll do a quick round of introductions. We'll go this way. Councillor John.
Carl Johnson, Deputy Mayor.
Malcolm Jackson, Young Mayor.
Councillor Joanne Sharp, Cabinet Member for Public Health.
Councillor Charlie Gray, Cabinet Member for Regeneration and Economic Development.
Janet Hunter, Cabinet Member for Adult Social Care.
Anna Johnson, Cabinet Member for Neighbourhoods.
Peter Early, Cabinet Member for Protecting and Supporting Children.
Tracy Holloway, Cabinet Member for Education.
Willie Samuel, Cabinet Member for Environmental Sustainability.
Liz Gray, Director of Public Health.
Dawn Manani from Age UK, representing older people.
Susie Forbes from Voda, representing the voluntary sector.
Chris Wilson, Vice Chair of North Tyneside Business Forum.
Joint Trade Union.
Amy Southern, Democratic Services.
Stephen Valentine, I'm the Monitoring Officer of the Authority.
I'm Jackie Lawton, I'm the Chief Executive.
Thank you, everyone. So moving on to tonight's agenda. Agenda item 1, do we have any apologies for absence? No? That was easy, wasn't it? Lovely, thank you. Item 2, does anyone have any declarations of interest or notification of any dispensations granted? Can you please make it known? No? Thank you. Item 3 is minutes of the last meeting, which was held on the 18th of May 26. Are we happy to agree and confirm those minutes? I'm getting mixed up with my speech. It's been a long day. Happy to agree, thank you. Item 4, can I invite the young Mayor to present the report? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello everyone, thank you for having me here tonight to give the Young Mayor's update, what our participation groups have been up to recently. A member of Youth Parliament, Hugo, and I have attended Have attended Have Your Say Regional Conference in Durham during the half-term week, where we met other young people from across the North East. This conference was held following a regional survey that was carried out by Durham Youth Council, given to young people an opportunity to decide which topics was important to them and how it can be worked on as a region. This conference was a great chance to hear from other local areas and share what is happening in North Tyneside on a local level. Working in groups, we discussed topics which received the highest votes being jobs, opportunities, health and well-being and poverty, and cost of living. We worked together to create a pitch ideas to the rest of the group and took a vote at the end of the day deciding which topic we wanted to focus on. Health and well-being was decided as a topic we will look at the autumn to create a manifesto. Hugo and I were also invited to meet Emma Foodie, Member of Parliament, at her office and discuss a recent survey which she would like to roll out her young constituency. It was a great opportunity to meet with her and find out more about her role too. Hugo and I both have been given feedback to Emma around the survey, and as we're sharing her previous work carried out regionally and by our young advisory group. Our youth council group have been working to give feedback on a new mental health and wellbeing tool developed by the NHS to understand whether this will be received by young people in the borough. Some of the members also attended a debate run by 1 million women and girls, putting forward a question around the impact of AI on young people to a panel of councillors and candidates. For recent elections, our focus now is a democracy project to ensure the young people of North Tyneside can make an informed decision around voting and learn more about democracy in connection to with the voting age being reduced to 16. The Children in Care Council group have been working around producing a guide which every young person will receive when they are going into care. The guide helps young people understand different roles of professionals which they'll be working with different kinds of care settings, and the young people can be turned into support. Alongside this, our regional Children in Care Council recently attended the Great Start in Life conference, giving a presentation around language and stigma in the healthcare system. Our young people delivery brilliance receiving excellent feedback. Finally, our Send Youth Forum group have been working on the Send reform papers, looking at national curriculum accountability and national standards. Work has also been completed with young people across the borough, giving them an opportunity to share their views and submit this consultation. The group have also been working on highlighting the importance of finding your people following a borough-wide neurodiversity project. This was in relation to building connections with the other like-minded young people with similar interests, and the group having been working on this to make our youth directory on the council website is up to date, so clubs and activities are known to those who wish to join and make new friends. Thank you.
Thank you for that very comprehensive report, Malcolm. Very impressive range of work being undertaken there. Does anyone have any comments or questions? Yes, Councillor Hannah Johnson.
Yeah, thank you, Malcolm, and thank you for everything you guys are doing. I was on the panel for the 1 Million Girls, Women and Girls debate, and the questions from the Youth Council were really incredible, and it was great to have their involvement and to have them there as well. So just say thank you for them for being proactive and coming along and asking a question there as well.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Councillor Early.
I'm very happy to hear about the Children in Care Council guide that's being prepared. I think obviously it's a really stressful time for young people when they're first coming into care, so anything we can do to help support them is really useful and beneficial. And I'm glad to see also that you're looking at the SEND reforms. They're quite sweeping and quite detailed, so it's a big piece of work, I imagine, but more power to your elbow. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? No, can I just say a huge thank you to Malcolm, to Hugo, to the Youth Council, to the Children in Care Council, and to the Youth Forum and Youth Council. Thank you. The SEND Youth Forum and to the Youth Council. Thank you. Moving on to agenda item 5 is the 2025-26 Performance and Financial Management Report up to the 31st of March 26. Can I invite Councillor Carl Johnson to present the report?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm pleased to present the 25-26 Performance and Financial Management Outturn Report, which sets out service performance and financial position at the end of March 2026. The authority has closed the year with a net overspend of 1.115 million. This represents a significant improvement of 4.4 million since the position was reported earlier in the year, reflecting the concerted effort to minimise non-essential spend and maximise income where possible. To balance this position, we are proposing to utilise 1.115 million from the strategic reserve to bring the general fund into balance. While the overall position has improved, significant underlying pressures remain, particularly in social care. Children's Services had an overspend of £10 million and demand remains very high, with 419 children in our care. This places a heavy reliance on external placements. Adult Social Care had an overspend of 2.159 million, driven by increasing complexity of need and demand for care despite strong delivery of savings. Environmental Services delivered a 1.52 million underspend due to reducing waste costs, increased income, particularly from the garden waste subscriptions. The overall position benefited from a 6.6 million one-off dividend from Newcastle International Airport. Over 14 million of savings were planned in 25-26, with the majority delivered. But some medium-term financial projects remain off track and we will continue through to 26-27. In particular, Children's Services Finance, workforce changes and commission reforms. The investment plan delivered £90.5 million improvements across the year in housing, infrastructure, education and regeneration. The housing revenue account is broadly balanced with a small underspend of 33,000. Schools and the SEND pressure remains significant, with 12.375 million high needs deficit and increasing number of education, health and care plans. To summarise, financial position has improved throughout the year and we've largely delivered on our saving programmes. We continue to face substantial pressures, particularly in social care and SEND. Continued financial discipline is essential and delivering our medium-term financial plan remains critical to long-term sustainability. Cabinet has therefore asked to approve the recommendation set out in 1.2 of the Cabinet report, which are to note the performance of financial outturn, approve the financial adjustments, including use of reserves, and agree to capital and grant updates set out in the report. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Johnson. Do we have any questions or comments in relation to this item? Yes, Councillor Hunter.
Thank you, Mayor. I recognise that adult social care has overspent this year. And we are the largest spend in the council, £74 million, take a lot of council budget, but we have, during 25-26, saved 2.95 million. So the overspend would have been even greater if all the hard work hadn't gone into saving money. And I'd like to recognise the significant effort that's gone into that, because it has taken a lot of hard work and delivered that, but at the same time we've wanted to protect the residents of North Tyneside, prioritising their safety and well-being. So we will continue to do that next year. We'll continue ensuring that the welfare is paramount, prioritising independence, prevention and best outcomes for all. But we recognise that saving finances is still an important part of doing that.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments in relation to this report? Yes, Councillor Early.
I'd just like to say, similarly to what Councillor Hollander has said about adult social care, in children's social care, we recognise the extent of the pressure on our budgets. It's demonstrable, if you look at the figures, that the amount of the overspend almost corresponds with the increased cost of placing children in external residential care. We are working towards providing more in-borough places for our children who have to come into care, and we're also working at the other end of the scale in terms of looking more closely at trying to keep our children at home where that's applicable, rather than bringing them into care. So we are focused on those elements, and we do realise that there's still a lot of work to do. We're hopeful that the government's Children Schools Bill will look at closer regulation of external children's care facilities, because the costs for placing a child in an external care have risen in 2 years from something like 3,500 to 7,500 on average, and that's per week.
Thanks, Councillor Early. Any other questions or comments? No, I just want to say thank you for those questions and comments, and for the report, Councillor Johnson. We do face significant financial challenge, not unlike many other local authorities up and down the country. Increased demands on our services, particularly in adult social care and children's services, and increasing costs. But we're taking all the measures available to us to continue to review and address and meet the challenges that we face. And I would just like to say a huge thank you to the Cabinet members and the team and the officer team for all the work we're continuing to do across all council directorates, continuing to review finances to make sure we do deliver on the savings we have to in our medium-term financial plan projects, whilst also retaining excellent high-quality services to the residents of North Tyneside. Are people happy to agree the recommendations as set out in 1.2 of this report? Thank you. Moving on to agenda item 6, which is the Local Government Association Corporate Peer Challenge Report, Action Plan and the Chartered Institute of Public Finance and Accountancy Financial Resilience Review Report, a nice short title for this item. And I'm presenting this item. So I'm very pleased to present the report to Cabinet. It brings together 2 independent reviews of our organisation. Firstly, the Corporate Peer Challenge, and secondly, what's known as the CIPFA Financial Resilience Review. Together, they give us a clear and very positive picture of where we are as a council. Both reviews highlight real strengths. The peer team describe our mature organisational foundations, good member and officer relationships, and record of strong service delivery. They praise our clear council plan, our strong partnerships, and the positive culture across the organisation. They also point to our high-performing services, including our Ofsted's outstanding judgment for children's services and the CQC's good rating for adult social care commissioning. CIPFA's findings are just as encouraging. They confirm that we have strong financial governance, calling parts of our approach sector leading. They highlight our political stability, our mature financial understanding, and the strong working relationships across the organisation. SIPFA concludes that we are financially sustainable in the short term and that our plan for change is the right way to strengthen our long-term position. Both reviews also give us clear recommendations, and we have developed an action plan in response to the CPC findings. Cabinet is also asked to agree that we now develop an action plan for the SIPFA recommendations. Together, this work strengthens our ability to deliver the North Tyneside Plan 2025 to 2029 and the outcomes that matter most to our residents. I ask Cabinet to agree the recommendations set out in section 1.2 of the report. Do we have any questions or comments in relation to this item? No. It was a really good process, I think, to go through. It was a very detailed process. Both of those external reviews of our organisation, I think, are highly beneficial and overall very positive and very clear recommendations as set out. So we're now asking for agreement of the recommendations as set out in 1.2 of the report, which includes the action plan as well in response to those recommendations. Is Cabinet happy to agree the 5 recommendations detailed in the report? Agreed. Thank you very much. Moving on to agenda item 7, the North Tyneside Plan 2025 to 2029 annual report. Can I ask Councillor Carl Johnson to present the item?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm pleased to introduce the first annual report on delivery of the North Tyneside Plan 25 to 29, which was adopted by full council last November. This report marks an important milestone. It sets out the progress we have made in the first year and introduces a strengthened approach to performance monitoring, updated to the Cabinet twice a year, supported by a public dashboard so that residents, members and partners can track progress against our commitments. Overall, we are making strong progress across all 5 ambitions. We've established delivery programmes, strengthened partnerships locally and regionally, and begun implementing key initiatives that will drive change over the next 4 years. In terms of key highlights, under Better Lives for All, we've launched a significant programme of work with the Institute of Health Equality to tackle health inequalities. This has been complemented by a strengthened financial support for residents, including changes to council tax support and continued delivery of the Household Support Fund, helping tens of thousands of households. In Best Start in Life, we've expanded our Best Start family hubs and put in place a clear plan to improve outcomes for children and young people. While overall education performance remains strong, we are clear that narrowing the gap for disadvantaged children and those of SEND is a key priority going forward. Places to be proud of, we are making good progress on environmental sustainability, including preparation for food waste collection and continued reduction in carbon emissions. Community safety remains strong overall, with a reduction in antisocial behaviour, and we are seeing high levels of resident satisfaction for our parks, coastlines and open spaces. Under good work and economic growth, the borough continues to see recovery and growth, supported by business activity and investment in key sectors such as clean energy and advanced manufacturing. Projects such as the Energy Academy expansion and the AI Growth Zone at Cobalt Park will support future jobs and skills. And in housing and neighbourhoods, we're making progress in delivering new homes, improving energy efficiency and investing in neighbourhood infrastructure, while also working to strengthen satisfaction with local services. However, the challenges remain. Inequalities persist, and we must improve consistency in how residents experience services and build confidence in how the council responds to local concerns, particularly around neighbourhood services. In summary, this is a positive first year position with strong foundations and clear priorities for delivery. I ask members to note the progress made in this report and to deliver the ambitions of the North Tyneside Plan.
Thank you, Councillor Johnson. Do I have any comments or questions in relation to this report? Yes, Roger.
Can I just ask about point 1.1.8, which is despite our clear progress about what you've just mentioned, Colin, how will progress be measured in terms of addressing this inequality?
So obviously one of the big mayor's big priorities is the work of the Institute of Health and Equality, which will certainly measure through that. But we have certain metrics on the dashboard that we measure the progress against some of these things on. Some of this thing is key structural change that will not show 6 months or 1 year. It will be 3, 4, 5 years down the line that we see the big differences in inequalities made, because these things don't change overnight. They need big key decisions nationally and locally to make that. So that's how we'll track them through our work with the Institute of Health Inequality.
I think just to add to that, Roger, I think one of the key benefits of the partnership and joint work with the Institute for Health Equity is they bring external eyes, they bring expertise, and there are now around 60 or more Marmot places across the country. So they're learning and gaining information all of the time from all of those places. So we're now part of that really important work going forward. So it's really adding value to what we're doing and really ensuring that we are clear about what interventions are working and in what way they're working. But long term, as Councillor Johnson said, it'll take a long time to actually see a closure of a gap in health inequalities or premature death, but that's what we're working towards.
Tangible, some tangible.
Absolutely, and that's crucial. And I think that's one of the real benefits the Institute are supporting us on, because that's really important that we see that change. And we see the steps towards that change, and we have clear metrics around what that is. So yes, very important point. Thank you. Any other comments or questions in relation to this item? No, or we're happy to note the progress in achieving against the ambitions in the Our North Tyneside plan. Great, thank you. Moving on to agenda item 8, North Tyneside Local Plan Consultation, Initial Proposals. Can I invite Councillor Carl Johnson to present this item?
Thank you, Chair. This report seeks Cabinet approval for the local plan publication draft initial proposals. These initial proposals represent the next stage in preparing a new local plan for North Tyneside and the first step within the Council's formal budget and policy framework process. Cabinet members will be aware that the work on the local plan has been progressing over the last year, following approval of the local development scheme in February 25. This has included consultation on the vision, issues and options, followed by a consultation on the initial draft local plan earlier this year. There's been strong engagement from residents, businesses and stakeholders. This has included over 6,000 visits to the consultation website, more than 1,700 responses to the site proposals, and a series of well-attended drop-in events across the borough. The feedback has been key in shaping initial proposals. Key issues raised include concerns about the impacts on the Greenbelt, infrastructure capacity, travel, environmental impacts, and the need to deliver the right mix of housing that fits the needs of our residents. The initial proposal set an updated housing requirement based on the government standard method alongside a refined approach to site allocations, infrastructure, and environmental protection. Importantly, this remains an early stage of the process. No decisions have been taken that would allow development to proceed, and there will be further opportunities for engagement before final prep proposals are prepared. Subject to the Cabinet agreement, the initial proposals will be referred to the Overview and Scrutiny Coordination and Finance Committee alongside further member engagement to allow refinement and have consideration by full Council in September. The local plan is essential, ensuring we have an up-to-date framework to manage our future growth, meet the housing and employment needs, and protect and enhance our environment. It will play a key role in delivering the Council's ambitions for better places, stronger communities, and sustainable growth across North Tyneside. I recommend that Cabinet agrees with proposed decisions set out in paragraph 1.2 of the report.
Thank you, Councillor Johnson. Do you have any comments or questions in relation to this report? No? Are members happy to agree the recommendations set out in 1.2? Agreed. Thank you. Right. Okay, moving on to agenda item 9, North Tyneside Design Code Supplementary Planning Document. And it's over to Councillor Carl Johnson again to present this item.
Thank you, Chair. This report seeks Cabinet approval to adopt the North Tyneside Design Code Supplementary Plan document. Members will recall that Cabinet agreed in February 2026 to publish a draft design code for consultation following earlier engagement undertaken in 2024. This report brings forward the final version for adoption, taking account of consultation feedback. The design code is an important tool to support the delivery of high-quality developments across the borough. It builds on our adopted local plan and will support the emerging local plan providing clear and consistent guidance on design expectations. It replaces the existing Design Quality SPD and reflects a stronger emphasis in national policy on the use of design codes to improve the quality of places. Consultation was carried out between February and April 2026, including engagement with residents, stakeholders, and over 3,000 consultees. The feedback was generally supportive, particularly of the ambition to improve design quality. However, residents also highlight the need for greater flexibility, clearer guidance, and better alignment with national policy. In response, the final design code has been refined to make it clearer, more practical, and easier to use, while continuing to provide a strong guide to secure improved design quality throughout the planning process. The code sets out design principles and guidance that will apply across all types of development. This includes matters such as local character, movement, accessibility, environmental sustainability, and designs of buildings and places. Once adopted, design code will become a material consideration in planning decisions, helping ensure that new development contributes positively to our communities and creates places people can be proud of. I recommend that Cabinet agrees to proposed recommendations as set out in paragraph 1.2 of the report.
Thank you, Councillor Johnson. Any comments or questions in relation to this item? No. The members happy to agree the proposals? The recommendation, sorry, thank you. Agreed, thank you. In accordance with the authority's constitution, written approval has been given by the authority's section 151 officer, the monitoring officer, director of regeneration and economic development, and the chair of the council, that this decision, item 9 of the agenda, is not subject to call-in and may be implemented immediately, as will be set out in the cabinet minutes at the time of publication. Thank you. Moving on to agenda item 10, the Crisis and Resilience Fund. And can I invite, was I doing this or you, Councillor Johnson? Again.
For the last time, people will be glad to hear. I'm pleased to present this report to Cabinet. The new Crisis and Resilience Fund gives North Tyneside just under £3 million a year for the next 3 years to support residents facing sudden financial pressures. The funding will help people in crisis now, while strengthening the resilience of our communities over the long term. The fund brings together 4 areas of support. It provides quick, cash-first help for people in urgent need. It replaces the discretionary housing payments so we can continue supporting residents who are struggling with their housing costs. It invests in services that help people manage their finances and avoid crisis in the future. And it strengthens the coordination between the council, partners, and community groups so people can get the right help at the right time. What makes this different from previous schemes is the stability it offers. 3 years of funding means we can plan better, work with partners more effectively, and focus on prevention rather than short-term fixes. The approach will be shaped by colleagues across the organisation, informed by the Poverty Intervention Board and Network, ensuring it reflects what we know about the pressures facing households in North Tyneside. The Cabinet has asked to improve the acceptance of funding so we can put it into work for the residents who need it the most. I therefore ask Cabinet to agree to recommendations as set out in 1.2 of the report.
Thank you, Councillor Johnson. Any comments or questions in relation to this item? Yes, Councillor Early.
This paper, welcome multi-year funding. I think it gives us a better chance of trying to address both short and long-term problems in terms of inequality and where residents are struggling to make their way. I think it gives us a better chance of developing long-term strategies and chimes very nicely with our ambitions towards becoming a model as well.
Okay, thank you for that, Councillor Early. Anyone else got any comments or questions? No, I would just like to say I welcome the funding as well. Great to have a 3-year funding stream to support our communities and our residents. So a really welcome contribution from the government. Are people happy to agree the recommendations as set out in 1.2 of the report?
Great.
Thanks, Cabinet. In accordance with the authority's constitution, written approval has been given by the authority's section 151 officer, the monitoring officer, interim director of resources and the chair of council that this decision, item 10 of the agenda, is not subject to call-in and may be implemented immediately as will be set out in the cabinet minutes at the time of publication. Thank you. Moving on to agenda item 11, which is the exclusion resolution. Find it. Are Cabinet happy to